This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
Katie Marshall.
Lewis Mobbs.
And you're both doing a special concert, aren't you?
Yeah, we're doing a really exciting concert at Uppingham Church on the 16th September in aid of the Anti-Nolan charity. It's really exciting.
So how come you've chosen to do it in aid of Anthony Nolan?
We both have a connection with sort of people with blood cancer. I know a lot in the local area suffer with blood cancer, and I really wanted to help the charity.
You do performances together quite often?
Yeah, we've performed I think 2 or 3 times now together in public to quite large audiences. We only started, was it October last year?
Yeah, and then we performed for the Children's Ambulance Christmas concert at Leicester Cathedral together.
You're an ambassador, aren't you?
Yes, I am, yeah.
So how does that all work, being an ambassador for a charity?
Well, I just do lots of performances for them and help them with charity events and things. But for the Children's Ambulance one we did at Leicester Cathedral, I did a performance with Lewis and we sang Ave Maria there. So it's really nice to perform to such a big audience.
So what can people expect at this performance coming up in September?
A bit of everything, really. So obviously me and Katie will be singing together and as soloists, and we've also got a violinist there, so there really will be something sort of for everyone. And there's sort of everything from Mozart to musicals. We'll have a bit of audience participation as well, and we've got quite a lot of raffle prizes as well.
The shops around Stamford, Oakham and Uppingham are really generous giving raffle prizes because we've got a charity raffle on the night, and we've got things like a 3-course meal for 2 at the Falcon Hotel in Uppingham, afternoon tea for 2, so really exciting prizes. Please come along and make it a great success. We want to raise as much money as we can for the Anti-Nolan charity, and we hope to do that by people buying lots of raffle tickets on the night as well, so please come along. It will be an amazing evening to make it such a success. And you can get tickets at Uppingham Sports and Books.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
It's Rutland Radio breakfast time. I'm Rob Pisani. The Rutland Arts Theatre Society's latest production is called An Unspeakable Triumph of Supreme Brilliance. And to tell us more about it is the director, Abigail Rayner. Thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio. That's quite a title.
Yes, it is quite a title. I think it's the longest title play that we've done at RATS so far.
Does it fit on the tickets okay?
Apparently it does fit on the tickets, but not on the boards that we normally use. We've had to have special banners printed.
Yes, I know what you mean, the normal white A boards that you have around the town.
Yes, that's right.
So tell us about it then.
It's a play that was written in 2014 by an American playwright called Don Zalidis. I think it's only been performed in America, so it is the first performance on British soil. And it's a comedy with farcical elements to it. It's basically about an amateur drama group who are challenged in a competition to put on a play in 48 hours, an original play that they will have written, rehearsed and then performed in the competition. And you can imagine how tempers get frayed and comedy moments happen as people get more and more tired trying to achieve this.
Now, I don't suppose that's something that RATS currently do, because you rehearse for these things for months, don't you?
Yeah, we don't put our performers or our directors through such an ordeal. I mean, we do occasionally have original material that's written by members, but no, we have a nice, gentle, predictable rehearsal schedule.
Now, tell us some of the names that are in it. I see quite a few familiar faces on the publicity.
Yeah, we've got 1 or 2 members who have been in quite a few productions. We have some younger members in the cast, which is exciting to have people who are willing to stay with us and be in their 2nd or 3rd show. A couple of them have only performed once or twice with us, so they've been challenged by having slightly larger parts this time.
Is it quite a fast-moving show? It kind of sounds like it would be.
Yeah, one of the things we've really had to work on, because there's quite a lot of stage action, it involves a door that people dash in and out of. So we've had to really kind of up our game and get the pace up so that things happen with precision timing.
And is everyone doing their role in American accents then?
No, when I chose this play, I felt it was a play that could be really easily adapted to a British setting. So we have changed some of the wording slightly to take out the Americanisms and some of the context that put it in America. And we're actually performing in our own accents this time.
So how much are tickets and where can people get them from this time?
Tickets are available on the High Street at Coleman's and also on wegottickets.com. They are £9 in advance and £10 on the door. And we have put an age advisory on the play of 16 plus. Of course, it's up to parents' discretion, but it has got some themes that are maybe slightly for an older age group.
And it all starts on the 31st.
Yes, that's right, yes.
And how many shows are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing Thursday the 31st and then into September the 1st and the 2nd, finishing on the Saturday evening.
And matinee as well on the Saturday, or just evening ones for this?
No, just evening ones for this.
And it's all at Brook Priory Theatre at Station Approach there as part of the school. Your new kind of resident venue, I suppose.
Yes, we've done quite a few performances there now, so we're getting into our groove, I think.
An unspeakable triumph of supreme brilliance. Do you know, that sounds like a review, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
Yeah.
It
Let's
does.
hope it is.
Yes.
Happy Rain, and thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio.
Thank you very much.
Rutland Radio.
And with the cast of Cinderella, how you all doing?
Really good. Hello.
Good. So who have I got here?
Stephen Hall. I'm playing one of the Ugly Sisters.
You've got some very fetching earrings in at the moment.
Thank you. Yours aren't bad either.
Thank you. And who's here?
Gary Amos.
And are you one of the other Ugly Sisters?
No, I'm the Prince.
A very interesting prince costume.
Hi, I'm Olivia McLaughlin and I'm playing even the fairy godmother and / baroness.
I'm Stuart Earp and I'm playing Buttons.
I'm Bessie McMillan and I'm Cinderella.
How many years have you been doing pantomime
It's
for?
actually my 10th.
Nice.
I've been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And are there any newbies this year in the cast? Yeah.
Me, yes, it's my first pantomime with
Wow.
the company and all together really, yeah.
So what did you used to do before panto?
I've just graduated from Musical Theatre College, so this is my first professional one. I'm really
Nice.
excited, yeah.
What are you most looking forward to?
Oh, I think it's probably learning from the cast that I've got around me, really.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Now, the Ugly Sisters.
Yes.
What can people expect from Cinderella this year?
Real ponies this year, so that's a massive surprise. We've got real life ponies that are going to be in the show.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
And Buttons.
Hello.
What are you looking most forward to?
Just being back amongst the Melton public. They've been really kind to me over the years, and I love performing in front of them.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
So you might recognise this voice from Corrie. Stephen Arnold, how you doing?
Oh, very well, thank you. How's yourself?
Good, I'm good, thank you. You're in the panto this year, Cinderella, at Melton Mowbray.
Yeah, I'm playing Dandini this year, Melton Mowbray. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been Melton a couple of times before. And yeah, just looking forward to getting out there now and getting on stage. I think this is my 12th one, this. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I've done one a year since I left Coronation Street, and then I've done some Easter ones too. So yeah, I think it's my 11th or 12th one, I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Ever done Cinderella before?
This is my third time I've done Cinderella. I've played Dandini before for a different company, and I also played Buttons.
Did you used to go to pantos when you were younger?
I went to one as a kid. I think Ken Dodd was in it, but I can't remember where it was at or what pantomime it was, to be honest, because I was very young, but I can remember getting a bag of sweets at the end.
And there's little ponies in this one this year.
Apparently we've got real life ponies, which should be exciting. Let's see what they get up to on stage.
Yeah. Now, also, you've got a local connection with Rutland. You're doing the Phoebe Research Run, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. We've got a race organised on the 1st of October. It's a 5k run, and we're desperate for runners, to be honest with you. We put a message out last week, and we got a great response, but we're still short of runners. So if there's any runners out there, please join up. You can join up on www.phoebe5k.org.uk. It's for a great charity. All the money goes to that charity, and yeah, we're just looking forward to getting as many runners as possible. You get a free pint at the end, and you also get a medal.
Rutland Radio.
So I'm outside Edith Weston Village shop, and I am with
Archie Foster.
Now you're doing something really good for Macmillan, aren't you?
I'm holding my own coffee morning. I'm in honour of my 2 grandpas who died from cancer.
Oh, so you've got loads of cakes out here.
Yeah, we do. We've got brownies, flapjacks, peanut butter cookies, which are selling very well. We've got Victoria sponges, my orange cake that I personally made, a raspberry and almond cake, and loads more.
So many cakes for anyone who's passing by Edith Weston if they want to get a snack or something on the way.
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing to do. I decided to do it after seeing the Macmillan advert So I decided to create a poster, and we were originally going to do it in my house, but then we decided we might do it just in the car park. So we went and asked the village shop, and that really changed everything, and they said we can do it in the picnic areas. And we also said we can put a donation box inside the shop. We also sent around flyers around half the village, and hopefully the rest would see the poster. And today we are using some of the facilities of the village shop, which is great. And we've met quite a lot of people so far, and it's been really good fun.
Great. Can I ask how old you are?
I am 12 years old.
12 years old, and you've done all this work. You've made posters, you've been around the village, you've sorted it out with the shop. You've done loads.
Well, I couldn't have done it without my mum helping me with baking, and my brother actually is taking control of the whole thing at the moment. My sister Lara is on games, and my dad's been helping moving things, so it's a family effort.
Oh, good. And do you want to say anything about your granddad?
One died recently this year, and that is, of course, very sad. And we did raise quite a lot of money for a charity. But also, when I was quite young, one died before. And it's quite a hard thing to live with. So I wanted to raise charity so no one else feels like that.
I think that's an incredible thing, and I'm sure that your granddads will be looking down on you very proud today and wanting a piece of the cake as well. So thank you very much for talking to me today, Archie.
Thank you.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Rutland Radio, Land Rover Burley Horse Trials, just a matter of hours away, and working hard at the coalface, as it were, in broadcasting terms, is Rutland Radio's Rupert Bell. Morning, Rupert. Here we are a year since the last time.
Morning, and that debate about Little Mix was firmly on my thought process.
Yes, I thought they did really well, actually.
I'm in awe. But anyway, we digress, don't we?
Already, yes.
Yes, well, it's a lovely morning for the first day of the Land Rover Burley Horse Trials. I mean, when you come here, when the sun comes up just after 6 o'clock at this time of year, and then it glistens off the famous Burley House, you just feel as if there's very few troubles in the world to bother you. Do you know what I mean? You come in here and there's very few people. There's basically someone at the main entrance greeting, and you come in and you drive in, and they've got a lovely dew on the ground, and there's just a little bit of a mist sort of in one of the valleys, and you just think, wow. Happy days. And we've got 4 days of great sport to look forward to as well.
And yesterday at the Trot Up, you spoke to all the riders, including Zara Tyndall and also Michael Young, who we heard earlier as you were chatting to them. And you know, it's great optimism as always for the event. Well,
yes, particularly in terms of British eventing, because a couple of weeks ago they won gold at the European Championships, which was... Okay, we've got lots of talent, but given recent performances by GB riders at major championships, it hasn't been that good. So it was perceived as a bit of a bolt out of the blue. So there is a degree of optimism now. They've got Chris Bartle in charge of the GB team, and he is the sort of Jose Mourinho of the eventing world, having steered Germany to so much success in recent years. But as a Brit, he's come back to home territories to pass on his undoubted skill at getting the best out of these eventers. So there is a new degree of optimism, but this is the supreme test. Mark Phillips says that this is the toughest 4-star track in the world. That's what he wants to create. It is the supreme test of horse and rider in eventing.
And, of course, 2 days of dressage, cross-country on Saturday, show jumping on Sunday, the usual format.
Absolutely no change. Usual format, and, of course, lots of trade stands as well, because that is very much part and parcel of the day out here, particularly today, because the dressage is for the more specialist in terms of understanding what goes on. Elegant though it is, the sort of subtle nuances of the dressage test is for the real riding experts. But so people come along just to shop. And I must warn you, there has been something of a change on the trade stand front.
Please do tell us.
Well, the Land Rover stand has moved across the road, and I think there's been some change in location of some stands. So,
wow.
There has been a big moment.
I can see the implications of that, actually. I really can.
I'm sure. So people might be head scratching for a moment or two and saying, well, it's always there, but it's actually just gone across the road. I don't know what's happened to the trade stands who were there originally.
Well, I'm just thinking Dawson's of Stamford
it
was kind of across the way.
That's where Dawson's. So I've got to go and check out where Dawson's, but I'm sure Dawson's will be fine. The well-known jewellers from just down the road, they're an institution, and I'm sure there will be plenty of room. But that has you will notice one bit of a change, but. Otherwise, I'm sure the usual suspects are all here for people to do their Christmas shopping, would you believe, which is what people start doing, particularly sort of, you can get it done nice and early, end of August, beginning of September, and then you can enjoy the build up to Christmas. I never thought I'd be talking about Christmas in August, but here we go.
I know, we talked about it yesterday because Christmas cards are in the shops, but I know exactly what you mean. I know.
No.
I know. I'll bring you one up later.
Well, yeah, thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Rob. Yes, but we will be in for as usual, stunning days, and the usual sort of warning: if you're coming on Saturday, just leave yourself extra time, because clearly. When this estate was first built, it wasn't planned to have 150,000 people trying to descend on it. So just do allow yourself a little extra time coming off the A1 or wherever you're coming from to get it, to make sure you enjoy it, your day to the best. And looking at the weather forecast, you won't probably need an umbrella, which will be fantastic.
The Land Rover Burley Horse Trials. What time does the dressage begin this morning?
10 o'clock. Tina Cook, who was part of the European gold medal winning team, is first in, and then Oliver Townend, who was also part of that team, are the first two to go. Michael Young, who you're mentioning, on his fabulous horse Lambia Satek Sam, will be going just before the luncheon interval at about 10 to 1. So those are some of the star names who will be gracing us today. Zara Tyndall, she's in action tomorrow.
Rupert Bell, thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio. I'm already looking forward to the next time we talk.
Rutland Radio.
Thanks so much for talking to us here at Burley. Do you come here every single year?
No, it's my second time. I came here maybe 12 years ago when the kids were still young, came with the dogs. It's more of my wife's thing. I mean, I'm only on flat racing, go as fast as you can.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So, but my wife lived in the environment of show jumping and eventing and stuff, and my kids do it, and then my daughter did it today. And I came to support and have a nice day out, completely different to my sport, and a nice day to relax.
Yeah, indeed. Can you put this in context for anyone who lives locally and just sees all the traffic? This is really, right at the top of its game, isn't it?
Well, look, we all basically, in some way or another, related to animals. Horses, obviously, to start. People can come and walk their dogs. There's some good shopping, some good food, the weather's nice. And it's a chance of people they're usually not used to being outside to come and feel what the countryside is all about. So I'm a part of it, and I encourage people to come and join us, and this is the best we can offer to them.
And we'll see you back on TV on A Question of Sport soon?
No question of sport, but I'm racing on Saturday sundown.
Wow, and you're here relaxing at Burley just 2 days before?
Absolutely, why not?
Thank you very much for joining us on Rutland Radio.
No problem.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio Podcast.
Every year we come to Burley and we see John T. Evans, who runs this amazing Celebrity Talks area where, no 2 days are the same, talking to the riders, talking about people who make Burley tick. And actually, you've got such a story of your own, actually, this year. Tell us about your horse that... after nearly £500,000 has been raised by a lot of people who probably have never met you.
Yeah, as you say, we've had an incredible time. We were told earlier in the year that the owners would have to sell the horse, and they'd been offered a significant amount of money. We were going to have to raise £500,000 to buy him. The support we've had has been phenomenal. It was a slightly last-ditch attempt, really, to raise the money by going to the public and basically, asking them if they would help. 2 ladies put in a significant amount of money between them, and the public raised the rest. And to raise that much money, we were staggered by the response.
They clearly care about what you do, what the horse, and the kind of marriage together, I guess.
I think you're right. I think that's what came across from comments people made. I think people who donated definitely saw the relationship I have with the horse. I've ridden him since he was a 5-year-old. We probably do have a very close relationship, a very special relationship, as do a lot of the riders. The horse puts his absolute trust in me, and I put my trust in him. I think the worry for people who donated was that If he and I were separated, then that would maybe not be replicated by a relationship with another rider, and they seemed very keen to help us and to help us stay together.
So this has all happened very, very recently. What's the future hold?
Well, we did consider bringing him to compete here at Burghley. He is of that standard. He competed at badminton and the Olympics.
So what would we do with the talks area? Who would do that?
Well, that did come into play, to be honest. Also,
we could do that, actually. I certainly couldn't do what you do out there.
It did come into play. That was part of the decision. Also, the fact that our preparation hasn't been ideal. And so we're giving ourselves a few weeks, and we're going to compete him at Blenheim Horse Trials in Oxfordshire in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And then next year, hopefully back to badminton, and very much with an eye on the World Equestrian Games. And then in the future, it would be lovely to be thinking we'd be taking him to the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2020.
So he's got quite a future.
Without a doubt. He's 11 years old, which to be at the level he's at and to have achieved as much as he has, he's still young. There's every chance that with a following wind and a good physical preparation, he can compete until he's maybe 16, and so very definitely he is a top class horse.
It's just a happy ending to what must have been, the last few months for you.
I can't pretend it hasn't been a horrific time, not knowing what was going to happen to him. He would obviously be very well looked after if he were bought for a lot of money, but the difficulty is, as we go back to that relationship, and would somebody be able to recreate that who wasn't part of the original partnership? So no, it's been harrowing. My family have been incredible. People have helped us enormously, and I cannot thank people enough. There are people coming up to us here at Burghley who are now part of what we call Art's family, and it's lovely. It really is lovely. Some of the riders asked me if I would feel pressure, but to be honest, it's just like having an extended support crew, an extended amount of support, and it's fantastic.
I was just literally, whilst I was waiting for you, actually someone came up to me and said, is he around? I just want to thank, I just want to talk to him personally because, I donated some money.
And that
took a minute.
Yeah, it's been the theme, and it's fantastic. It's really nice to meet the people because, of course, it's all been done via social media and on the internet, and so, it's proved the power of social media and the internet, but it's lovely to actually meet them face to face and to be able to shake their hand and say thank you.
Thank you very much for talking to us, John.
Not at all.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you very much.
Rutland Radio.
At Burghley is Rupert Bell. Morning, Rupert. Have you managed to take a Burghley breakfast yet?
Not yet, no. I got here a little early. I don't know whether they've fired up the bacon butting machine, but I will be making sure I take full advantage of something culinary in a few moments at one of the many stands.
Talking of stands, yesterday you're talking about how the Land Rover stand has moved. It's huge now, isn't it? Just over the other side of Avenue A.
It is vast. You got all sorts of cars. There's a Jaguar. Obviously the sponsors they're gleaming in the sun as we speak because it is a lovely morning here. So those Land Rovers are absolutely gleaming, and as I say, they have moved them across the road. As we were saying yesterday, I'm sure there was many a committee meeting to establish the new footprint for the sponsor's main stand.
Indeed, and the more we mention it, the more chance we have of possibly borrowing one for a weekend.
Well, clearly that's what you're aiming for, Rob. I don't know how you're getting here today, but presumably they should have done. Rob's on the road for Burghley Week.
Yes, exactly.
I'm doing my best for you.
I've got a few stickers. That wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Let's talk about dressage then. Of course, Michael Young leads the field. As predicted, really, he's the favourite to win the whole competition. Of course, yesterday the whole field will be thrown up in the air with cross-country, but there's still many names to watch for later.
Absolutely. Michael Young is one of the star names, and two go today that I suppose are the big box office names. Zara Tyndall will be going this morning with her horse High Kingdom. Obviously, a great deal of, she creates an interest for obvious reasons as to when she's here, but she's fiercely competitive with a good horse High Kingdom. So she's going in the first session. But the horse, I'm sure, that will also be creating quite a stir going just before the lunch break is Andrew Nicholson on board his excuse me, Rob, need that bacon buddy.
Yes.
Is Nereo. They won badminton earlier this year. First time he'd won badminton. He's 56. He'd broken his neck the year before. You know, all sorts of stories, great stories surrounding Andrew Nicholson. Again, there'll be a great deal of interest in how he gets on later on today. And then Tina Cook, who was part of the big European gold medal winning team for Britain. She's got a second horse. Mark Todd, who is the god of the sport, is also competing as well. So many a big name. So plenty to look forward to on hopefully another sunny day. Although, Rob, we did get drenched at about 6:15 last night.
I know. I was on my way back from Burley, and thunderstorm.
Absolutely. There was spectacular crack of thunder, and then that was followed by unleashing a terrific storm on Burley. But then you go 10 miles away and there's absolutely nothing. So, but it's a lovely morning today. I can't, it really is. When I got here just after 6 and the sun was coming up and just shimmering on the Burley house, and now it's cleared up to be a lovely spring, late summer morning. So come along if you've got nothing else to do and enjoy being in one of the great estates of this country.
And there's always some very famous names at Burley, obviously, in the competition itself. But Matt LeBlanc, Joey from Friends, was spotted on Wednesday night. Yesterday, I ran into Frankie Dettori, and we'll hear from him a little bit later. Anyone that you've rubbed shoulders with? Are you prepared to divulge?
No, I haven't been, apart from, I suppose I spoke to Zara, but that's not really going out on a limb there.
Well, she didn't speak to me when I asked her.
Okay, work in progress.
Yes,
progress
indeed.
There.
Yes, that and the 4x4.
Yes.
I love a Land Rover.
Yeah, you're doing your best. I don't know who are you overdoing it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel Ofcom coming on you.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, that's a bit in for the listeners.
I'm getting a little red here. Shall we wind this up?
Yes, I think we should. But I'll see you later. I presume you're coming down.
Yes, we are. We are taking over your studio between noon and 2. And if you need to do anything, just elbow us out.
No, it's all yours. Looking forward to seeing you later. Have fun. It is fun here, and the good news is because we are right next door to. It's a glamorous location, right next door to the Portaloos here. Yesterday there was a problem, but luckily that's all been sorted out,
right.
and the little gas cloud that was hanging around the back of the press area has been eradicated.
Right, okay. I think I get where you're going.
Rutland Radio.
Here in the Rural Crafts Marquee, which is in Avenue G, I'm here with Katie Cardew, who, I suppose you would have seen her work around Stamford from, the leaflets have been around to the portraits, the paintings. You're absolutely overrun with commissions, I know.
I am, yes. All booked up for Christmas, unfortunately. But yeah, lots of slots for next year.
So how did you, actually make a career out of it? Because actually to do that must be really tough.
Yeah, actually it was sort of a snowball thing. So I started off doing commissions, and because they're sort of houses and families and weddings and they're very personal, people put them on their wall and then people go to their house and they say, who did that? So that was all very organic, and then from that I started doing my own prints, cards, wallpapers, lampshades. We've just got some new tea towels in, so it's sort of grown, and every year I try and do a few new designs, a few new products. So now we're 4 years in, and we've just got a lovely range of stuff.
I've just seen a Stamford lampshade.
Yes.
Yeah, basically Stamford and London.
Well, I've got the whole Stamford wall.
It's your kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Stamford, London. We've also got the Wild Collection, animals. Basically, anything. Anything goes.
How would you describe your style?
Bright, quite quirky. Try and keep it quite fresh and modern, but without being too modern.
You like curves, don't you?
I like curves, I like wonky lines. I never use a ruler, all freehand drawing. Yeah, I've always drawn like this. I've drawn like this for as long as I can remember. It's just sort of honing in that style.
And was art your thing at school?
Yes, I did GCSE A-level art, and then I did English at uni. Just don't know why.
For something to do?
Yeah, and then I just carried it on afterwards as a hobby and then turned it into a career.
And to actually get that distinctive style, we see these all over and we know that's a Katie Cardew.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. I've had some funny things happen. When I first started out, before I set up the business, I put some flyers in some houses in London when I was living in London. And then 3 years later, this woman came up to me at Burley and she said, I recognise that flyer. It didn't have the same picture on it at all, and she recognised the picture. So it's really nice that actually the style is so recognisable. Every painter has a different style, and this just happens to be mine.
And you clearly love this local area because, there are, as you say, the Stamford Wall.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I did move to London for a bit, but now I'm back for good. Yeah, I mean, we're very, very lucky to live near Stamford with such, a huge wealth of amazing architecture and so many nice houses for me to do commissions of. I don't think there's many areas in the country where you get so many nice houses in one sort of concentrated area. Yeah, really lucky, and I love it. I love it around here.
Katie Cardew, thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio. You're here all through the weekend?
All till Sunday evening.
Is it you the whole time that people will see?
Yes, I'll be here. I've got a bit of help, but I will be here most of the time.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Well, if you come to Burley, there is a certain look, I suppose you might say. And this is a local spin on it. I'm here with Emma Brown of Emma Brown Tweed. Now, how long have you been actually putting all this together? Is this your first time actually selling at Burley?
No, we came last year to Burley, but actually I've only been going a year and it's been in the pipeline for about 4 years.
Whereabouts does it all happen?
I live in Preston, so it comes off the kitchen table. It's all made in Hampshire by 3 lovely ladies.
So you design it in the county, basically?
Yes, I do. I design it all at home and then I make the prototype and then it's sent down to Hampshire and made up for me.
It's much more than just a pattern, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's making women feel like women and fit in their bodies, really, which I feel is really important, which you don't really get these days.
Where do you think you'd see this range, outside maybe the horse trials?
I have a lot of clients that go shooting, picking up and beating, and then I have a lot of city clients that just enjoy wearing tweed in the city.
What sort of prices are we looking at?
A waistcoat would range from $145, and then I do some smocks, and they are around $220.
And, actually here at the horse trials, it's really quite appropriate that you're here.
Yes, absolutely. I've just designed and produced my first waistcoat, which has been approved by British Dressage. The lining was hand-painted in watercolour and then printed onto cloth.
And you've been flying the Rutland flag as well nationally.
Yes, I have. We have been nominated as a finalist for the National Rural Business Awards for country clothing. So that was an absolute delight, and the finals are in October, so fingers crossed for that.
And it's only 2 of you actually, for that prize.
No, there's actually 4 in my category, and there's lots of different categories.
But Rutland has 2 across the board.
Yes, we do. Yes, there's Rural Roots, which is a friend of mine, Megan, which she does quite a lot of PR for me. So the fact that we've both been nominated as finalists is really exciting for Rutland.
Perfect. Emma Brown, thank you very much for joining us here at Burley Horse Trials this year.
Yeah, thanks very much, Rob.
Rutland Radio.
It's live at the Land Rover Burley Horse Trials for us. And I tell you what, the queue to get in, Rupert, it looks like everyone has seen the sunny weather and thought we'll come at the same time.
Well, why not? Because it is going to be a lovely day. The cloud is burning off as we speak here at Burley Park. When I got here at about 6:30 this morning, and already people were coming into the car parks. I mean, that is Burley for you. You want to get here, you want to wander around the trade stands, you want to go and have a nice breakfast somewhere, there is a perfect reason to get here, and the actual cross-country doesn't start till 11:30.
And what an amazing field it will be this year, and how great is it to see Sir Mark Todd back at the top so far?
61-year-old and with a field of 61 competitors will be competing, and that is, it's remarkable, his durability and his will still to win. He's won this 5 times, trying to go for a record equaling 6th. He's first time, he can't remember when he first led after the dressage phase, probably back in the old days when the sport was very different and the sort of long format that they used to have. But it just shows what a talented rider he is, and he was brilliant yesterday. Michael Young, the world number 1, is in 3rd. Then we got Tina Cook and Oliver Tarnett, who are part of the gold medal winning team in the European Championships. Reason, excuse me.
Is that bacon again?
I haven't had it yet, and that's probably why.
Yes.
But there's been a lot of talking I've been doing over the last. But it is going to be a great day. As long as the ground's going to be perfect. A lot of the riders have been out walking the course for one last time this morning, just to make sure they've got their lines right for the obstacles and make sure they've worked out, if it doesn't quite go to plan, if they can then quickly take another option around one of the obstacles. So plenty. They will walk the course many times, and many of them still doing it in the build-up to the start of the cross-country in just over 2 hours' time.
Now, I think the rain's been very well placed this year. It's okay. It's slightly dampened a few cocktail dresses on the launch night, and 6 o'clock-ish last night as well. There was a few spits and spots of rain, but actually fine dry weather for the actual competition. So I suppose it's given the ground a little bit of springiness.
Well, this morning, obviously, there was a heavy dew this morning, as is normal for this time of year. So that'll help keep the moisture in the ground, and the ground conditions absolutely perfect. They water the course. They've got the means to make sure that they can produce really safe ground. That's the primary concern. Safe, easy ground, so it doesn't take too much out of the horses, and this ground won't. But still, not many are expected to get clear inside the time, so it will be a supreme test of a rider's skill to make sure they get inside the time and jump clear at the same time.
And this really is the event of all the events of this level.
It is indeed. The ultimate challenge for horse and rider at 4-star level. That's the elite. It is like competing at a Wimbledon or a Open Golf Championship in those respective sports. This is the ultimate challenge and a must win. To compete here. For some who are competing here for the first time, it's actually just getting through to Sunday and doing the show jumping phase. But obviously the leaders, it's all about winning. They're not just here to make up the numbers. They want to go on and actually win the first prize on Sunday afternoon at the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials.
And talking of winning prizes, if you have your picnic and it's particularly eye-catching, then you could win a prize there as well. This is with Adam from Countryfile. He's going to be judging today.
Yeah, Adam Henson, who is here, there is a sort of picnic area, and on a day like today, I'm sure there will be some pretty spectacular picnics. But yes, he's here. He's got a book out as well, so I think he's promoting that, and he's also will be cooking some Burghley bangers to the sponsors, owners in their hospitality area they've got down by one of the fences here.
I didn't put Adam down as a chef, I must admit. I remember James Martin doing Burghley burgers, but Burghley bangers for Adam.
Well, but yes, and so Burghley bangers. I don't know whether it's sausages from what it is actually. I think it's probably Gloucester Old Spots pig sausages, which are. My father used to keep a few old spots, Gloucester Old Spots, and they do produce the most delicious banger.
And I think that's what Adam's farm is full of as well. Actually, he's famous for that, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. I live quite near where his farm is based, and it's a very. It's a tourist attraction as well, because obviously he has a big profile as a result of his Countryfile programme, and lots of people come to see and understand country life, because for people in urban areas it is a completely change of pace, and animals, what turns up on the plate wrapped up in cling film, well, actually there's a whole industry behind that in the rural life, and he's very good at sort of demystifying that and explaining what goes on a working farm.
Well, I know we'll hear from you later, Rupert, with the riders as they go through the cross country, and also I'm sure you and Adam will be able to have a chat at some point as well.
We will try and find our Adam.
Yes.
I'm sure. I think there is a plan afoot for us to go and see Adam. I've interviewed him many times. He's a natural communicator, and we'll look forward to hearing from him later.
And Lydia will also be with you, so look out for our blonde one.
I'll look out for the blonde one.
Rutland Radio.
So we're here in the media centre. I'm here with Claire Balding. You missed Burghley last year, I seem to remember, but there's so many years you've been here and actually conveyed that excitement that we have here.
Yeah, just unfortunately last year it clashed with the Paralympics, so I was out in Rio doing that. And I love Burghley. I love coming here. We've been blessed with fantastic weather this year. The cross-country course here is always such a test. And we don't do an awful lot of equestrian coverage on the BBC, but what we do are the big ones. So we do badminton, we do Burghley, we do World Championships, European Championships, Olympics. And it does have the benefit of being an Olympic sport, unlike horse racing, which obviously now there is none of on the BBC. So there's, certain continuity, but I think also because the riders stay around for such a long time. So even though, I'm 46 now and I've grown up watching Mark Todd and Andrew Nicholson, and they're still going, and you think it's amazing.
And still achieving as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm delighted that Burley this year has got record prize money. Although it always strikes me that in eventing particularly, you never get a sense that the riders are doing it for the money. And that makes it very unusual amongst elite sports. Look at Formula One or horse racing or football or, and it's all about money and the business of it. And this seems to me to still be a pure sport, and that's one of the reasons I love it.
And this month your new book comes out?
Yeah, it does. I'm now in the realm of children's literature, and I wrote a book called The Racehorse Who Wouldn't Gallop that came out last year and did really well. The follow-up to it is called The Racehorse Who Disappeared. And the funny thing is now, when I walk around events, it's the kids that come up and want to talk to me, which is lovely. So I had a whole load of boys suddenly spot me yesterday when I was off doing a bit of shopping. They're like, "Oh, excuse me, can we have a photo with you? We've read your book." I thought, that's great, actually.
You're so much a universal figure for sport, on TV in the country. I mean, it's got to be a great thing to encourage the next generation to be watching it.
Yeah, and they do get really involved. I mean, my post bag has changed, and now it's all kids writing, and they want to suggest plot lines for the next book or what certain characters should get up to. And I try and encourage them to write their own stories, because I think, we've, particularly when we're young, we've got incredibly fertile imaginations, and to have the confidence to try and write your story about your pet, or I say to them, what do you enjoy, what do you like music, do you like food, do you like animals, do you like sport? Well, base your story around that.
The whole write about what you know. Yeah.
Exactly, and then you've got spin-off points into the realm of fantasy if you want, but start with what you know. Write it authentically. Try and find your voice. Rewrite it as well. I was judging a writing competition just recently, and I said to the winner, just out of interest, I said, "Did you rewrite this?" And she said, "Oh yes." I said, "That's why it was better than anybody else's, because it wasn't just the first thing that came into your head. You rewrote it." And for The Racehorse Who Disappeared, I rewrote 3 times.
And I suppose it's the same with TV as well. I'm sure there's people who think you just rock up five minutes before, take a quick look at your watch, clear your throat, off you go. But it's not that, is it?
I wish it was that easy.
It must be, with Burley, it's I suppose about getting back into that kind of field.
Yeah, the nice thing for me with eventing is I've been doing it a long, long time, so a lot of the knowledge that you have is sort of historic and very much ingrained. Because I missed Burley last year, I do need to look up and see exactly what happened and why the result was as it was. And you need to remember the Europeans have just happened and what happened there and who's relevant and what happened at the Olympics, etc., etc. So there's always stuff that you've got to gen up on. But I did 2 sports this summer that I've never done before. I did the America's Cup sailing for BT Sport, which I loved, and was in Bermuda, so lucky me.
Yeah.
Someone had to do it.
Rutland Water we're quite blessed with around here, but yeah, Bermuda.
And I really enjoyed that, and that felt like you're suddenly taking an exam in a subject you haven't studied before, and it was really fresh and new. And then I did women's football at the European Championships for Channel 4, and again, I haven't covered football before, and I've never really had much interest in men's football, frankly, because I think it starves every other sport from coverage because it's so dominant. But women's sport have always been very, I've promoted it very strongly. So to get the chance to do, arguably the biggest women's sport of the lot, and, sadly England didn't make it to the final, but the Netherlands won it, and it was just great being part of that crowd, and it felt like you were part of something that was really happening. And that's what excites me about women's sport. There's so much potential for it to grow, and we've had a great summer for the women's cricketers and rugby players and footballers as well. It feels like it is changing, so that's good.
Claire Balding, really kind of you to stop off and talk to us on what must be such a packed weekend, really, all geared towards Sunday afternoon.
Oh God, no, I enjoy it. Listen, I always think this isn't really work. Don't tell anybody though.
No, me neither.
Exactly. I get a chance to walk the course. I have a little time to go shopping. I catch up with friends, do a few interviews. I work hard on cross country day. To be fair, that's quite a long day, but other than that, it's really good fun.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk.